Again, hello illustrator and welcome to the market. This is the beginning of the July reading vlog, and I'm going to take you on the process of selecting the books that I'm going to read. I literally only own 5 books right now, so this is just going to be determining the order in which I do it. I have a name wheel pulled up on my laptop, which is off to the side, which I have to pull very much in frame. But we have 5 books, 4 of which I know and are aware of what they're, and one that is a mystery from my local bookstore. So yeah, let's go over what we have. Gotta move. Okay, so first off we have King Weaver, which is about a shape-shifting princess. I think they identify as like agender within this, but essentially they have to use their magic to disguise themselves as a man, to run away, to work for the court of this new king, and they just kind of fall in love. I think there's going to be some sort of like political intrigue, because I read The Throne of the 11 by the same author, and that book also had some political intrigue. Not as much because it was a novella, so I am excited about this one. This book is 349 pages. It is signed. This is one of the signed copies that I have because there's some, like, the pages are misaligned, if you could not tell. There's just a lot more space on the inside of the book than there is on the sides. So this is technically a misprint copy. I'm very excited though. So that's first contender. We have Tears of the Wolf by Elizabeth Wheatley. This is the first book in her newest series that she's writing. I still need to finish the rest of the Dangerous Assassin series. I just don't own the books yet. So I'm holding off, I think, until the move before I get back into that series, because I kind of want to get the physical copies of those books because I really like them. But this is it's not Second Chance. Yeah, this is a Marriage of Convenience book, and I think it's set in the same world as Dangerous Assassin. I think it has the same magic system. Bryn is the main character here. It's definitely set in the same world. And she is a sorceress. So, but it is a Marriage of Convenience. There's a telepathic dog. I'm very excited. I've seen a couple of Elizabeth Wheatley's little like shorts regarding this book, which is the main reason that I picked it up, besides the fact that I just enjoy her writing style. So I am excited to read this. This one is also dual POV, which Dangerous Assassin was not, which I'm very excited about, because within the Dangerous Assassin series, I really liked the Archduke, like that little novella. I really like seeing things from, oh god, what was his name? Dangerous. I love seeing things from Dangerous perspective. So we have Tears of the Wolf. Then we have Dragonfall, which I've mentioned before. This is not a book that I'm reading for myself. This is a book that I plan on dissecting, so I'm a little scared to read it because I have to like take a bunch of notes and have to be like picky about the grammar and how things are being written, because this is a case study book for me because it has multiple POVs. But it just seems like dragons, it seems like your standard dragon book. So yeah, seems like your standard dragon book. It's just, it has multiple POVs, so I'm just kind of like, multiple POVs and multiple styles of POV, which is why I'm going to be reading it and why I am absolutely terrified of it, because I have determined that this is a case study book and not a book that I can just read for fun. So yeah, we'll see what happens. The last physical copy book that I have is a mystery book, as I've mentioned. All of like little snippets on here, it's that it's rival archaeologists teams, which I think is going to be so much fun. It is like within the line of Ali Hazelwood's like STEM romances, which I haven't read any of them yet. I'm kind of tempted to read The Love Hypothesis because I want to make a video on fanfic turned published literature. I want to make a long video about that. Read like The Love Hypothesis, Hurricane Wars, The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, that Hermione fanfic that's getting published here shortly. I'm tempted to wait until Alchemize comes out because I read some of Manacled and I want to compare. So we'll see if/when that book comes out. Regardless, I want to like dive into that. That does mean I might read 50 Shades of Grey, which I'm not pleased about because that is technically a Twilight fanfic. Regardless, this is a second chance romance with apparently a badass female lead. I do kind of trust. Thing is, all of the tags I think are probably written by the people who work at the bookstore who have read this book, so I'm hoping all of these are correct. But this is probably gonna be like a 300-page book, if even. And I'm very excited about it. It's just, I don't know whether this is going to be like my prize book that I get to read after I read all the other ones or not. And then final book that I have, it's technically on my thing, but I like to pull it up on my Kindle. The last book is The Cases That Haunt Us, from Jack the Ripper to John Benet Ramsey. And this is another John Douglas book. This is another nonfiction book. I'm very excited for this one. This is a 500-page book, though, and I have not read chunky books in a bit, and I am very, very slow at reading nonfiction. Fantasy, romance, I can eat those up in a couple of days, to be honest. Nonfiction, not so much. That takes me a while. So I might be reading those at the same time. I might be reading that as the same time that I'm reading something else. But I do only have 5 books. And I think in total I'm looking at about 1,800 pages. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at about 1,800 pages that I need to read in the month of July, which I can definitely do. That is a doable number for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the wheel, and I'm kind of scared on what it's gonna pick first. So I have a wheel going on. This is the small. Oh, no. Oh, okay. So the first one we're gonna be doing is The Cases That Haunt Us. Because that is a 500-page book, because I probably won't read more than like 50 pages a day, because those books are just taxing, I'm probably going to end up having to give myself 10 or so days to read that. I have my journal off to the side so I can actually start planning this. So Cases That Haunt Us is going to be the first book that I do. Regarding videos for this month, my plan is to do a book and a beat for the mystery book, King Weaver, and Tears of the Wolf. And then my plan for Dragonfall is for that to be its completely own separate video that probably won't come out until next month. Because once again, I have to dissect that book and figure out what I want to talk about. And then The Cases That Haunt Us is not going to get anything besides what is in here. Simply because I don't like treating nonfiction, specifically murder books, like true crime books, as like something to get a ton of views off of. I don't want to like focus on that. I enjoy reading it. I just don't necessarily want to, not that I make anything off this channel right now, I don't necessarily want to profit off of that kind of content. Just not something that I personally want to do. I have no qualms with anybody else doing it. I watch those videos. It's just for me personally. I don't want to essentially go into detail about these gruesome crimes because I will get things wrong. I'm not going to be as unbiased as I should be. So, The Cases That Haunt Us is first, and then we're gonna do, no, that's fine. Next we're doing King Weaver, which is 300 or so pages. Once again, I'll probably be doing 50 pages a day, so that will be another 6 days or so, give or take. I don't do this every month, but when I have like a set amount of things that I'm trying to do, like I'm trying to read this amount of books, I usually will like parcel it out and plan how many days each one takes. And seeing as I'm going to start it early, because it's technically the 29th of June right now, I knew that there was no way in hell I was going to finish any of the books that I have on my docket in 2 days. I mean, logistically speaking, I could. I don't work either of those days, so I could like sit down and read a couple hundred pages each day. I don't want to do that. I did that all of May. Most of May, I was reading upwards of 100 pages. Same with like April and May, I was reading a lot, and I low-key burnt myself out. Next one is the mystery book, which I'm very excited to see what that is, but I'm not going to open it until it's time for me to read it, so that I don't like, oh, I really want to read this one now, so I start reading it immediately. I don't want to do that. So the mystery book, once again, around that 300-page mark, should take me about 6-7 days. I am going to give myself more time with Dragonfall, because I probably won't be reading as much of it. That's the issue when you get to the point where there's only 2 options, because it's just a coin flip. So Dragonfall will not be the last book of this month, which is probably a good thing, but oh my god, if I was reading it for fun, I'd be less scared of this book, but I know well enough that I cannot DNF it. Like all of these other books on this list, I can DNF at any point. I can sit there and go, you know what, I'm not feeling it, just not it, I can DNF it. Dragonfall, I can't, because it is a case study. And I know some people are kind of like, you're really going to rip into this book. I'm just kind of like, yes, because I, as a writer, need to understand how it works. And when that video comes out, I'm going to make it very clear that what I am talking about in this book is for my own personal gain, is not a dock against the author, even if I say things like, this is a really weird way to do this. It's simply weird for my mind. Okay, so Dragonfall is 400. So I'm going to give it 10 days as well. So I'm definitely over the amount of days. Sorry, I'm definitely over the amount of days that are in July at this point, but ooh. And then Tears of the Wolf is obviously last. I am going to refine and alter and see how I can make everything work. Because frankly, like I mentioned before, I will probably read The Cases That Haunt Us at the same time as another book. It does mean it will take all of them a lot longer, but it's just, it's very easy for me to read on my Kindle. And I will be taking that to like my work, where I have to sit in my car for like an hour. Don't think I have to do that at all this week, but regardless, I think I'm going to probably pair it with King Weaver, and just kind of flip-flop between the two of them for the sake of my sanity. So I will be back with the finalized draft. Once again, if it is a draft, it doesn't mean it's finalized, doesn't mean that what I am writing down now is exactly what I will do, but the plan is to finish all 5 of these books. We'll just see how it goes. So I will be back shortly after I figure out dates. Alrighty, so I have finished charting out dates, how many days I'm going to take for all of them. Everything perfectly fits, by the way. If I start today, I will finish my last book on the 31st if I read no more than the amount of pages that I've determined. In total, it's about 1,900, almost 2,000, it's almost 2,000 pages, which means I do have to read about 60 pages a day is kind of where everything ends up falling. So The Cases That Haunt Us should take 9 days. I will start it today, which is June 29th, and I should finish it by July 7th. King Weaver will be July 8th through the 13th. My mystery book, my STEM book, essentially will be the 14th through the 18th. Dragonfall, I am, at the moment, keeping it to 7 days, which is just about how long it should take me to finish the book. Should fit in the 19th to the 25th range, which is good, because I won't be traveling. I have failed to mention that while I am reading the mystery book, I am going to be out of state, so we'll see if that book actually ends up getting finished, but it should. I'm hoping, because I do have 2 15 to 16 hour drives, and I have found out that I can read in the car, so hopefully that still tracks. Anyways, Dragonfall will be from the 19th until the 25th, and then Tears of the Wolf will be the 26th through the 31st. I'm hoping that one will also work. I just know that I will lose an entire day, because Comic-Con, I'm gonna rephrase that. I am going to Comic-Con the 27th. So let's hope and pray and wish upon a star that I'm still able to finish all the books, even though I will be out of town for like 5 days for the entirety of one of the books that I am reading. I will also have to bring Dragonfall with me. I'll have to bring 2 books with me because my mystery book I need to finish during the duration of the trip. And then Dragonfall I need to start on the drive back, which once again is going to be 16 hours. Oh, geez, it's going to be great. So that is the plan. I should pop in an update accordingly. It'll probably be on the halfway mark is when I'll update, specifically for like the cases that haunt us. I'll probably update that one halfway through. I'm hoping for all the other books I will update a little bit more frequently, like after the first chapter, then the 50%, then 100 pages before the end, and then the end. We'll see if that's how that actually goes, especially while I'm out of town. But I'm excited. I have it all planned, so I can now start reading for this month. I have no idea what this means for next month, to be completely frank with you. Because I will have finished all of these books, which means I really don't know. I'm hopefully gonna be moving in August, so I don't think we'll be. There may or may not be a reading vlog for that month. I may or may not be filming that month at all. So I just kind of want to front load with doing a vlog, 3 books in a beat, and a writing critique, a case study. I'm gonna call it a case study. So that's the plan. So yeah, we will see how everything goes. I will come and update after I'm probably halfway through the cases that haunt us. See y'all then. Okay, so I am 129. Yeah, 129 pages into the cases that haunt us. And it's not what I wanted nor was expecting. What I was expecting were cases that specifically stuck with detectives, that stuck with police force, that stuck with the people who dealt with the crimes. Not the ones that were sensationalized by media, the ones that stuck with the public. So the first chapter was literally about Jack Ripper, and I could not care less. I think it's an interesting case. Do not get me wrong. It is gruesome. It is vile. It is too old for me to care. Everybody involved is dead. There is nothing of interest for me in that story. Next one up is Lizzie Borden. You know, the old rhyme, Lizzie Borden took a hatchet, whacked, I don't know, 20 times into her, regardless. And I, once again, also don't really care for that case. A lot of the other ones are along the similar line. I mean, there is John Benet Ramsey later on, and a couple of other notable ones, but it's not what I was looking for in this book. I guess I probably should have read the synopsis, but I was assuming that this book was going to be about cases that stuck with detectives, with people at the BSU unit, people who did profiling, not, oh, these are like the popular cases that stuck with media. So, yeah, I'm just not super interested in it, because you are correct. These are cases that stuck with the public. And I have already read, seen, watched, consumed media regarding these cases before. I do not need to hear about it. I do not need... I know you can hear that in the background. I do not need to read any more about these crimes. What I'm tempted to do is just pick and choose chapters that I want to read, that I do find interesting, because I still enjoy John Douglas's style of writing. This is just not what I wanted. I think going forward, whenever I'm looking for a true crime book, I will be specifically looking for books focusing on criminal profiling, focusing on cases, and not just... because Anatomy of a Motive is a manual, in my opinion, that is, here is how to determine criminals and their motives. This is just, hey, these are some sensationalized cases that I'm gonna take a look at and give you how we would handle it. And I'm trying, like, I don't really care. So I'm gonna try and finish this Lizzie Borden chapter. I think it's really dull. I know I sound very callous about all of these murders. Obviously the people who were murdered should not have been murdered, and justice should have been given. You know, all of the general things that it is. I sound so callous. I am just not interested in this book. So, I would not be surprised if by the end of today I decide to say, screw it, I'm gonna move on to King Weaver. So, we'll see if I have to essentially change my entire plan. Granted, I was not planning on doing any video on the cases that haunt us besides talking about it in the vlog, so. But yeah, I'm gonna probably DNF. So, yeah, I will check back in at a later time. Probably with a new book. Okay, so I am 11 chapters into the King Weaver. I did fully DNF the cases that haunt us. Once again, not what I was looking for, but I've started the King Weaver, and this is pretty good so far. Gonna pronounce it as Nove. Could be just Nova with an E at the end. I'm not entirely sure, but Nove. I really liked their writing style in their novellas. It is a very simplistic writing style, which means that it's just not as difficult to read, essentially, but they did a lot of really good world building in their novellas very quickly. That has not been the case with the King Weaver so far, but they also have a lot more time to explain the world, so I'm not really complaining. I'm just stating something that I've noticed. The chapters are nice and short. Even though I have DNF'd the cases that haunt us, my goal is to still finish this book in 7 days, which means I need to be reading around like that. It's still around that 60 pages a day, but more importantly, like 9 chapters a day, which is kind of my plan. But the story follows... I'm so bad at saying names, especially when they're fantasy names. Hold on, I gotta find it. I don't know whether it's Irava. Irava. Or Irava. Either way, she's a princess who has weaver magic, which is essentially being able to weave reality. It's a self-taught magic compared to elementals, which is an innate magic. And she's the princess of this kingdom who is now in a treaty arranged marriage with the kingdom that she is currently in. Thing is, she disguised herself as a man called Caleb to go and become a court mage for King Torovan. And she mainly did this to see if the new king is a murderer, because his father died of strange circumstances recently. The thing is, he's not. He's actively trying to find the murderer. It is dual POV, which I love. I love me a good dual POV book. And I like both of the perspectives so far. It's very interesting. I'm enjoying it. What I have been doing while reading pretty much all of today and all of yesterday is watching, like, unhaul videos for books. Like, Shelve It or Scrap It, by Becca and Books. There's, like, what was it called? Oh, the Bookshelf Ultimatum, on the channel Bev M something. And just in general watching a lot of, like, book unhaulings and just, like, reading the books that you have and putting them away. And it's so interesting to see all these creators with these, like, massive, like, stacks of books and, like, shelves full of books that they haven't read before. Perfectly fine thing. I think that's really cool. I also know that these, I don't know, I would assume that these avid readers have built these collections over years. I know that a lot of people say there's a huge overconsumption issue with books. And I can understand that argument if you're buying multiple editions of one book, or multiple editions of various books, but I think it's fine. It's just been really interesting to see these, because that's what, like, May, like, April and May was for me this year, was I'm going to read through the books that I have gotten in the first couple of months of this year when I decided to get back into my reading journey and finish them. And that's technically what I'm doing this month too, because my goal is to, once again, finish all of the books that I physically own. Is it as much as the people in these videos? Not by a long shot, but that's because I literally just started back up doing this. I haven't had multiple years to build up library collections. I need to get my other social medias up and running so that y'all can see my tiny little Amazon bookshelf with 2 shelves with all of my read books on the bottom and all of my to be read books are on top. Except for the books that I don't keep, because with the fact that I have such a tiny bookshelf, I don't keep a lot of books. If I like the book and I either plan on rereading it or like it enough just to keep it without me necessarily wanting to reread it, it'll go on the shelf, or if I've written in it, it goes on the shelf. But everything else is put in a tub that's by my bed. And at the end of this month, after I finish all the books that I have, I actually plan on taking all of those books and giving it to a local bookstore over here that will buy used books. And the money that I get from that, I will use to buy new books. I'm also, when I go back there, I'm going to try and find The Love Hypothesis. I'm mildly interested in the book. I don't really want to pay full price for it, but we'll see. I'll probably do a, like, I gotta get on shorts, so at the end of this month there might be a book haul short with all the books that I buy. I'm not gonna buy that many. I have one confirmed book, not one confirmed, I'm at least going to buy one book, because I should have the discount at my local bookstore. Different local bookstore from the one that sells books. Buys books. Anyways, probably not going to read anymore tonight, but I'm enjoying this so far. I do think this is going to count as my slow burn book for my bingo that is being run by my local bookstore. So, yeah. So I would like to start off by saying that I don't support authors who use AI in any way, shape, or form, whether that is getting the initial concept for your covers and then painting over it in some way, shape, or form, whether that is using structure through AI, whether it's using it as a baseline and then writing over it. That's just what college students do with ChatGPT. You're still not. Regardless, my intention was to check back in at the halfway point of Kingweaver. I'm no longer reading that book. I'm getting rid of all of that author's stuff because there are speculations and from their words themselves that they used AI on this book. So, only reason I didn't realize that before is because I didn't check their Goodreads before. And my main thing was I'm gonna check it to see if this matches the prompt for one of my bingo sheets, which is a slow burn. It doesn't, by the way. And I saw like the AI trash tag and a couple of other AI tags, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. So I looked it up. Sure enough, on Threads, they had made a comment about using AI for Kingweaver. So I am DNFing that book. I'm no longer having it. I will be, and the thing is, that sucks, because I was enjoying the book so far. I thought it was good. I'm just not going to continue to support that and have it on my channel. If I am wrong about this, feel free to correct me in the comments. It's a very cursory thing that I was checking on, but regardless, no. Just no. If I can find the thread, I will plop it up on here. I will do my due diligence to go and find it. Regardless, if I find out that that's not true and I come back with more Kingweaver stuff, great. If not, oh well, the author used AI. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. No. So if anybody was gonna go into the comments and be like, hey, this author uses AI for the book, you really shouldn't be promoting it, here it is. So I get to move on to the next book, which I don't know what it is because it is my mystery book. I would like to mention that this is the first official day of July. I have DNF'd 2 books so far, so I will definitely be getting through the literally only 3 other books that I have, which means that they can be taken a lot slower now. This is so frustrating. If you are to any author out there, any bookseller, any of people of the likes, if you're going to use AI in your stuff, inform your readers that you are using AI. Make it apparent from the very beginning that, hey, this was used in these exact ways. This is how AI was used for my books in these exact ways. And hey, maybe some people will say, okay, you only used it to help with your sentence structure, or you only used it to mess with your created outline, the outline that you made yourself, to shuffle things to fit into places better. And some people might go, you know what, that's fine, I can still read this book. I, as somebody who is working in the technical field, in like computer technology, as somebody who is a creator, as somebody who is a writer, as somebody who enjoys creativity, I don't like AI. I don't like it in creative spaces. I don't really like it in workplaces either. The thing scares me because security risks and all of those likes. So yeah, book's not being touched anymore. We're not going to be dealing with it. I will check in either later tonight when I start the new book, or tomorrow when I start the new book. I'm just kind of upset because I got like a good chunk in. Like I was, I think, 60 pages from being halfway through the book, and like I said, I was enjoying it. I liked the premise. I thought it was interesting. Was it the most well-written thing ever? No, but it's just frustrating. So yeah, I will be back later. Yay. So I am 25% of the way through Raiders of the Lost Heart, and it is actually pretty good so far. Our characters are Corey and Ford. Corey is Mexican American. She wanted to be on this specific dig because she may or may not be related to the guy that they're trying to find. And Ford is kind of the snarky know-it-all. The way that this is second chance specifically is that they had like a almost romantic encounter. So I think it is like cusping second chance, but I don't really consider it a second chance myself. But they have made it very clear that they are attracted to each other to start off with. But they are not like they don't romantically think that they would work together. And there's still some like issues that they may or may not have. That being said, it does seem like they will figure it out mostly by the halfway point, but then I know there's going to be a third act breakup because he kind of sniped this dig out from underneath her, not that she knows, which is going to be an issue, as well as kind of sniped her role at going to Yale for an apprenticeship rather than going to Berkeley. So he kind of did some screwed up things, but their banter's really good. I'm really enjoying the banter for them. This is not enemies to lovers. It literally says ultimate enemies to lovers adventure rom-com on top, which is granted a quote from Allie Hazelwood. But no, this is not. They are rivals to lovers. I mean, they dislike each other, but I think hate's a strong word. It's definitely listed. Enemies to lovers. If you are enemies to lovers, you have to want to kill each other. There has to be, at some point, a plot on each other's lives. Opposite sides of wars, like genuinely, truly enemies to lovers is when you want to kill the other person. You are potentially in danger by being around this other person. Dance of Thieves is enemies to lovers. Dangerous Assassin is enemies to lovers. It's a really quick enemies to lovers. It's still an enemies to lovers. But those are enemies to lovers. It is when you have somebody who is a genuine enemy, a threat to your existence and livelihood. This is just rivals to lovers. But I'm liking it so far. My goal is to get to the halfway point today. We'll see if that actually happens, but that's the goal. So I've got some reading to do. So I will check in whatever time I get to the halfway point. Alright, anyways. So I am halfway through the Raiders of the Lost Heart, and it's fine. There's a lot of back and forth between Corey and Ford. Like, there's a lot of, oh, they're finally making progress, and they're, like, growing as individuals. And then they stop. And then they each do something that, like, sets off the other person, and they're suddenly back at square one, but not really back at square one. They're just both reacting as if they're back at square one, so yeah. They also just boinked for the first time. I will say one thing that I like about this book is that they're not boinking the whole time. It's this whole, like, hate screw thing. This hate boinking is consistently brought up, and that seems to be what they're doing. But they, like, sometimes act like friends, almost, is the way that I see it. Even though he's kind of crappy to her, to be honest. But I've got half the book left, and I am dreading the third act breakup, because I know there's going to be one, because he's holding this big secret from her this entire time, and I'm like, oh, she's going to hate you when that happens, and that's completely valid reason to hate you, and I don't know if I'm going to be happy about her getting back with him, but once again, we're also halfway through the book, and they once again seem to only have a physical attraction to each other. Ford seems to kind of maybe have an emotional attraction to her, because he opens up with her, but I don't know, Corey makes it very clear throughout the entire thing, I don't want a relationship. My job isn't suited for a relationship, I'm not really into that kind of thing, so I don't know. We'll see. But I still have half the book. I should hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't know how likely it is because I work, but hopefully I will be finished with this book on Monday. But this will be the first book and a beat that comes out for this month. But yeah, it's mediocre at the moment. It's kind of chill. So, I'm once again absolutely positive that things are going to just kind of implode in the last 100 pages because that's kind of what these stories do. Whenever there's a big thing that the main guy is holding and keeping secret from the female character, it usually goes poorly. I think the only time where I've seen it done well for a third act breakup was Dance of Thieves. I think that's the only time that I've seen a third act breakup do well. Yeah, kind of. So, but I will check back in either tomorrow when I am another 25% of the way through the book, once I hit the 75% mark, or I will check in when I finish. But yeah, that's the update for right now. Toodles. Alrighty, I am checking in. I have finished Raiders of the Lost Heart. Fairly solid. The second to last chapter felt a little super tropey and very cliche. But I thought the ending was good. The final chapter was alright. I think the relationship was a little shallow, but overall I thought it was fairly good. Probably say that it's at like a 3.5, maybe 4 stars, but like a high 3.5. So next up, that does mean that I have Dragonfall. I think what I'm going to do instead though is I am going to... Why are you scratching my couch? Anyways, I am going to dual read Dragonfall and Tears of the Wolf at the same time, because Tears of the Wolf is the book that... Buddy, come here. Come here. Anyway, Tears of the Wolf is a book that I'm very, very much looking forward to reading, so my plan is to essentially do about 30 pages of each book a day. This one with me doing it probably in the mornings and annotating it. Or essentially doing this book while I am like awake and like wanting to do something actively, I guess. And then this is my book that I'll probably read before bed. Very excited though. I also made a mistake of going to my bookstore early for my D&D game. So I have 2 new books. I make 0... Buddy. Anyways, I make 0 promises about either of these books being read this month, and I will go more in depth into them in like a shorts thing for my book haul for this month, which I will probably put a couple of days before the end of July. But once again, zero promises about these 2 books. And if I do end up reading them this month, I will talk about them then. But goal is to finish these 2. Then I can read my new books. And then my plan is still the same. I will get rid of any books that don't fit, that I don't like as much. I will say I highly doubt Tears of the Wolf is going to get unhauled this month. Dragonfall will not because of writing in it. Raiders of the Lost Ark might, King Weaver is. So yeah, that's the current check-in. I have not started Tears of the Wolf yet, but I'll probably start this tonight, do an update tomorrow morning, and then I will start digging into Dragonfall. I'm terrified of this book. I've said it this entire vlog. I am terrified of this book. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish these in roughly, well, together probably around 12 or so days. So some point next week I will hopefully be finished with these, and then I can start the pretty books. Also the fucking sorry. The Tusk Love book is so pretty. I'm so happy. Do watch Critical Role. Not like religiously, and I've only seen a little bit of Vox Machina, but I'm so excited about this. I will also say, if I like this writing style, I'll probably go and read Hurricane Wars, because that is the author who wrote this. So yeah, I will check back in tomorrow probably with an update on Tears of the Wolf and maybe Dragonfall. Yay! Toodles. Alrighty, so I'm checking in because I have read 4 chapters of Tears of the Wolf now. I am liking it so far. I like the characters. I like that it's still POV. I still really enjoy Wheatley's writing. Plus there's a telepathic puppy, which makes me very happy. It's very cute. Very sad so far, but still very happy with it. I've also started my annotations for Dragonfall. And this has been interesting, like, grammarically? The grammar has been interesting. There's been a couple of notes regarding capitalization, as well as the way that they've been tagging some of the dialogue and the way that it is written. I'll go more in depth in my, like, case study video, but, yeah, I'm happy with it. And it seems like we're going to be adding a couple more, whatchamacallit, POVs, like, actually, like, character point of views specifically, because the first one is from the 2 POVs that we have so far are Everin, who is a dragon, and then like Arcadia, it's on the back, Arcady, who is a human thief. But it's interesting so far. Like the story itself is also interesting. So yeah. My goal is to at least read 4 chapters each of these books a day. If I can, I'll try and read 13 in total, 7 from Dragonheart and 6 from Tears of the Wolf, so that I am hopefully going to finish those within like 7 to 12 days. But I'm enjoying them so far. Yeah, that's it. I'll check back in probably the 25% or the 30% of the way through these books. I'll probably also be checking in with both of them and not just one or the other, because once again, I'm reading them at the same time. So yeah, that's it. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it, but my laundry's running. I'm finally halfway through both of the books. It is like 10 days later, maybe like 11 or 12. Look, I went out of town. I didn't read much when I was out of town, so now I need to get back into it. But I got to the halfway point of Dragonfall yesterday, and my cover is so screwed up at this point. I like this book. First of all, was not expecting that with the way that it is written, but I do enjoy it, and I like the writing style. We have gotten 4 different POVs at this point. And I will say, anything that is not Everett or Arcady? I don't know how to pronounce it. Or Arcady's perspective, is in third person strictly. So, in Everns, I said Everett, it's Evern. Or Evren, whatever. Evren's POV is technically first person. I think it's just first person speaking. I don't know how to describe it. He's talking to Arcady as he is retelling the story. But yeah, I'm liking this. There is a second book. This is part of a series. I don't know if I'll necessarily read the next book, but I might, because I think I know when this book ends, and it's not gonna end when like the story ends, essentially. So might read the second book. It depends if it's like a trilogy. If it's a trilogy, I might not. But I'm liking this one so far. And then Tears of the Wolf is fantastic, as I was expecting. I am deeply enjoying this book. I'm more than halfway through this one. This is what I have left. And I am deeply enjoying this book. I have to finish Dragonfall before I continue to read this one, because I could definitely finish this book today. I might do that instead, in all honesty, because I still have to film the Book and the Beat for this book, because it's not necessarily late, but my plan was to get it out July 21st. It's currently July 23rd. So my plan is to get it out on Friday. So, but yeah, I like this one. This one is fun. But I will check back in either at the 75% mark or by the time that I finish. I will probably check in sooner with Dragonfall, because this book is chopped into 4 pieces, and I'll probably check back in when I get to part 4, which I think is going to be my goal today, and finish Tears of the Wolf. But we will see what happens, and I will check back in when I know more things. Alrighty, it took me 2 hours and 2 minutes to finish the last section of the book. This is a good book. I'll probably read the second one, in all honesty. I might be picking up the second one today. I like this book. This is a good book. I like the way that it's written. I like all the characters. I think there's a fun amount of like mystery, and a lot of it is solved in this book, in total honesty. But it does seem like there's obviously still plot that's going to happen in the second book. It's just a lot of the questions from like the very beginning of the book have been wrapped up. There are just new questions now. So, kind of sort of left on a cliffhanger. But yeah, I like this book. This is a good book. I still need to read Tears of the Wolf, but honestly, that book's gonna take no time. The way that the pages are printed on this one, and like the size of the font is a lot larger. Pages are bigger. Font is bigger comparatively, so this is not going to take that long. So I will check back in once Tears of the Wolf is finished. Okay, so it is now the 24th. Yesterday was the 23rd. I finished both Dragonfall and Tears of the Wolf yesterday. I checked in right after Dragonfall. I did not check in right after Tears of the Wolf because I finished it late. Super good book. I adore the characters. Bryn and Cedric are very interesting. I liked the conflict with other people. That's the main thing that I really like about Elizabeth Wheatley's books, is that the conflict is very rarely between the two love interests. And it makes me so happy. Yeah, at some point they want to kill each other genuinely. Not in Tears of the Wolf. Tears of the Wolf, it's this is a marriage of convenience. Could I really learn to love them? This man falls first. He falls hard, and it's fantastic. I love that book. Should have the book of the beat out this week. So, I'm now reading Tusk Love, which is the Critical Role book. It is, for those of you who are unaware, Critical Role is a TTRPG, specifically placed in D&D 5e. Tusk Love is a book mentioned in one of the episodes of their tabletop role-playing game series on YouTube, and it is finally made into an actual book, and I'm so happy. And so I've read the first chapter. I am enjoying it so far. I think it's interesting. I like the characters thus far. The author of this book is also the same author who wrote Hurricane Wars, which... Orbo. Hey. I'm gonna be right back. I am back. There were cat issues. But this is based on a book that is talked about in one of them, and like I said, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's interesting. It's Guinevere, or something along those lines. It's our main female character's name. Yeah. Guinevere, sorry. And this is the first chapter. I don't think I'm spoiling much by saying this is the first chapter. She's tied to a fire demon. It's very interesting. I like it so far. Don't know when I'll finish this. The thought is that I might finish it tomorrow. It is only 269 pages, which is the shortest book I will have read all month. All of my other books have been 300 plus pages, so I should be able to finish this in a day and a half for sure. So I will check back in at the halfway point of Tusk Love, and this will probably be the last book of the month. I have 2 other books, but they'll probably be for August, so I will check back in later. Alrighty, I am halfway through Tusk Love now. The book is good. I'm enjoying it. Sorry, I'm tired. I like the way that the characters interact with each other. I think both of them are very interesting. I swear to God, if you start snow, don't do that. The characters are very interesting. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think the plot's fun too. Obviously, this is a couple of days after the last little check-in I did. Hopefully, I can finish it tomorrow, and therefore I will be successful in reading Tusk Love and finishing it in July. So, I will check back in once I am finished. I should be doing a book and a beat on it, though I make no promises, so we'll see. But like I said, I will check back in once I have finished the book, which hopefully will either be tonight or tomorrow, because I only have 24 pages left. Regardless, this would be like the shortest chunk of reading I would have needed to do between any of the books that I've read this month. So, yeah, I will check in then. Alrighty, it is now August 1st, and I finished Tusk Love last night. I literally had half of the book left, so I essentially got home from work and read pretty much the entirety I read the last half of it, so this is a good book. I love Oscar and Guinevere. I think that they're super interesting characters. Okay, I think that they are interesting characters. Super interesting, no, but they do have more depth than I was expecting from this book, because it is kind of like a gag book. At least that's what I was thinking of when I first got it. I really like this. I thought that the world was interesting, because of course it is. They also use the races and species, essentially, that ancestries is what they're called in Daggerheart. But this uses the same ancestries that Dagger Heart uses in its current iteration. So that was fun to see that this world is, while the campaign that this book was inspired by was in D&D 5e, they are using terminology and that kind of stuff from Dagger Heart instead, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, I like this book. It's cute. The like actual intrigue and like the journey that they're going on is also very interesting. It does get wrapped up kind of quickly. Like essentially there's, I think it's around like the 60-page left mark essentially, so like the 200-ish page mark is when the plot actually like comes to fruition. So it's handled quite quickly. So I do wish there was a little bit more like exploration of Guinevere and her fire spirit, a little bit more of that, but overall I feel satisfied with it. All of the answers that were, or all of the questions brought up in this book were answered in this book, so it feels complete. I'm saying this because I'm realizing now I don't think I read a single standalone book this month. I don't think I finished a single standalone book this month, so it was very nice. I liked it. But yeah, that is the end of our July reading vlog. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I read 4 books in total. I'll put on the screen here what our like average like star rating was, essentially, as well as how many got DNF'd and how many got fully read. But yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's a good book. The spare cover that they have on the inside is fun. I've not figured out how to flip that all the way around just yet. So at the moment, this is how it's going to be. But yeah. As I literally just said, that's it. And I will see you guys. I think the next video that I have coming out is going to be a book and a beat. But if you guys are just here for the reading vlog, I'll see you guys at the end of August. Doodles!